Hi, this is Anil from Learning Lab with a video tutorial on C programming. So in this tutorial we're gonna see two more functions available from the time.h header file. So one is called difftime, which is used to get the difference between two times, and another one is called clock. The clock function returns a value that approximates the amount of time the calling program has been running. So we're gonna see that later. So first I'm gonna explain you about this difftime function. So as a parameter to this difftime function, we need to pass the times, and this function is gonna return the difference in seconds. So here in this case it's gonna return time 2 minus time 1. So now we're gonna see how we can use this function in our program. So here, just for the demonstration purpose, what we're gonna do is we're gonna check out how much time our computer is gonna take to execute a for loop of counter, let's say 50 lakh. So here, for the demonstration purpose, I'm gonna create a variable I, and next we need variables of type time underscore t, and let's have start comma end. And here first we're gonna assign the start variable with the time, with the current time. So I'm gonna call the time function and pass the null parameter as a value. So next we're gonna create a for loop which is gonna loop for 50 lakh times. So it's gonna be I equal to 0, I less than 50 lakh, I plus plus. Okay, that's it. And next, after this loop, we're gonna get the end time. So it's gonna be end equal to the current time, and also we're gonna pass a null value. Okay, now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use this difftime function and get the time difference in seconds between this end and start. That's how we will come to know that how much time our computer has taken to execute this for loop. So I'm gonna write the printf function here, and I'm gonna say the for loop took %f seconds. And now I'm going to call the difftime function. So it's going to be difftime, and as a parameter we need to pass the end comma start, because this difftime function is going to return time 2 minus time 1. That's why here it's going to return end minus start. That's the time taken by this for loop. So I'm going to save this, execute, compile and run. So it says 0 seconds because my computer is pretty much faster. So okay, what we're gonna do is, instead of this for loop, we're gonna add a pause to our program using the getSet function. This getSet function is gonna wait for us to enter any character in the keyboard, and here we're gonna say the time difference was %f seconds. Okay, so now what happens is this getSet function is gonna add a pause to our program, and when we enter some values from the keyboard, our program will find out the end time, and then it's gonna compute end time minus start time and print out the time taken. So execute, compile and run. Okay, now it's waiting for us to enter any character from the keyboard. So I'm gonna enter a character. So it says the time difference was 12 seconds because the program was here for 12 seconds. Okay, now we're gonna see how we can use the clock function. So I'm gonna remove all these things, and this clock function is not gonna take any arguments, and it's gonna return the value that approximates the amount of time the calling program has been running. So it means that, for example, let's say that we have a function called display, and we're calling that display function in this main function. So this display function is gonna contain this clock function. So when we use this clock function inside this display function, is gonna return the time taken by this main function to reach the point or reach the code which calls this display function. And also this clock function is going to return a value of type clock underscore t. So this clock underscore t is going to contain the processor time in clock ticks. So to get the time in seconds, we need to divide this time by a constant which is defined in this time.h header file, which is clocks per sec. So it's going to be clocks per sec. Okay, now we're gonna see how we can use this clock function. So just for the demonstration purpose, I'm gonna create a function void display, and it's not gonna take any arguments, and here we're just gonna print out elapsed time was percentage u seconds. Okay, now here we need to use the clock function. So it's gonna be clock, no parameters, and also we need to divide by clock per sec, clocks per sec. So I'm gonna copy that and paste it here. That's it. We need to call this display function here in the main function. Okay, now I'm gonna save it, execute, compile and run. So it says elapsed time was 0 seconds because my computer is pretty much fast. That's why what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add a pause to a program using the get ch, and if I compile and run this program, now it is waiting for me to enter some characters. Okay, now I'm gonna enter a character and it says elapsed time was 5 seconds. That means that this main function to reach at this point took 5 seconds because we have added a pause here. And if I call this, if I add another pause and call that display function again, I'm gonna compile and run. So now it is asking for me to enter a character because of this first get ch. Okay, and that's it. It says elapsed time was 7 seconds because to reach to this point the computer has took 7 seconds, and now it is waiting for us to enter another character. I'm gonna enter it now. So it says 21 seconds. That means the program, this main function, took 21 seconds to reach this point and call this function. Okay, now finally the uses of this clock and difftime function. Using the clock, you can estimate the time taken by your program to call a function, and also using the difftime function you can calculate the time taken by a block to execute, or time taken by the entire program. So this is it, guys. This is about the difftime and the clock function in C. Thank you, guys. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel, like my Facebook page at facebook.com/learninglad, and I'll see you in the next tutorial.